Ranjit, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, good morning.
Today, I was just planning to do this part, but it's absolutely all right. We can do it next week itself. So let's do it on Monday. What is data science, machine learning, deep learning, and all of that?
Yeah, we can do it. I
Okay.
think
Yeah, tell me. So today the plan. So until now we have seen how to open Python, how to install, what is an IDE, what are the data types and variables, that means what are the different ways through which we can save, variables or values within Python in the form of list, tuple, dictionary, sets. So we have seen all of that. And then there are two important things, conditional statement and looping. We have seen that as well. Conditional means if else, and looping means where you have to iterate a certain segment multiple number of times. For loop and while loop, we have seen that. Majorly for loop is the one that we would be using majorly in our day in day out life. And next we saw how the function works, what is a lambda function, how to create a function, how to call a function. We have seen that. These two have purposely ignored, reason being these two, constructor and destructor, these two are needed for people on the IT side. So people on IT who use Python as a development tool, to develop applications and all, these two would be majorly for them, constructor and destructor. So that's why I purposely have not touched these two things, because we don't need this as part of data science at this point. And
okay.
yeah, and today so yesterday we were just, I opened this one and we saw like we were just middle of the prime program. So I will just take it on Monday itself. And also on top of it, we will try to do some programmings like, so one could be like, check voting eligibility of a person, voting eligibility. That is one thing that we can do. Finding max mean from a list. What else we can do? We can do some conversions, conversions of, let's say, between different units, kg to gram, kilometer to mile. So those kind of things we can do, and we can also try to create a calculator, the basic one, the basic calculator, which will just do, addition, subtraction, deletion, multiplication based on user input. So these are few of the things, and also there are something else also we will try to do, where we would majorly use functions, for loops, list, tuples, dictionaries. These, I mean, until whatever we have used or whatever we have learned, those are the things that we will use. And then we will jump into Python modules. So what is a module? Let me just close this and let me just open a new one. So this is majorly for today, where we will see theoretically what are the things that we can do. So the first thing is Python module. So what is a module? So Python module, this is essentially, Python modules are set of instructions to perform a certain task as per asked by the user. Okay, so this is what a Python module is. So long story short, we have seen functions like print is a function. If this is a string, Ranjit and Sian, then we have seen length as a function, which will count the number of characters present in this particular string. So this is a function. So we have seen these are, these are system built-in functions. So we are just calling it. We are not bothering about what lies inside or who has written this, how to define it, what are the arguments, parameters. All we know is this is a function. If we have a doubt, we can hit Shift and Tab. We can hit Shift plus Tab. This is one thing we can do. And then it will tell us what this essentially does. So this will tell me returns the number of items in a container. This tells you the returns the number of items that we have in a container. So that is what this length function is doing. So if you see here, that's exactly what it's doing, number of items. So if this is a string, that means this will have all characters. So the characters are number of items here. So this is basically characters in a string. So that's why this is a function and this is what it does. Now, just imagine there are, now this is one function, right? There could be lots, thousands of and lakhs of functions stored inside a particular, inside Python. Now, it would be not easy for me to remember all of it. So what Python has done is, based on your type of work, Python has divided and clubbed functions together. So if I have to put it in this way, like let's say you are dealing with only file import export, import and export. So this is Python. All we were doing now, I mean, what were the modes of data until now for us? One is manually entering, and another was using the input function. Input will ask something from the input, and that will be the mode of input for us. But what if we have to bring in an external CSV file? Let's say some, some marketing data set, which talks about the marketing, the price, sales, the agent, and how much time they have taken, how much money they have made, and all those small details. So if we have to bring that function into Python environment, in that case, all the functions which are needed to consider, or all the functions which are needed to do an operation on that internal and on that external CSV file or Excel or whatever different file format, in that case, all those functions are clubbed together within a single module. We call it as a module or library. Python module, or we can call it a library. Both are same thing only. So this is essentially for doing a particular task. It stores all the relevant functions together. Like for file import and export, Python has, okay, we can call it as package as well. So all three will have same meaning: module, library, package. They all are the same thing. So for file import export, the file, the package that we have, the name is Pandas. That is the name of the library. That is the name of that module. Pandas, Pandas. So what Pandas will do? So Pandas is a module which will help you to import or export any outside file within the Python Jupyter notebook or Python environment. And after importing that file from external system, it will convert that into a data frame. So we will talk in details about these things later in the course. So where was it? Yeah. So later in the course is where these ones we have introduction to pandas, data structures. So we will talk in details about all of that thing. But for now, for these 2 days, just understand about theoretically what these are. So pandas is something which will help you to take external file. Now, let's say there is a CSV or Excel file we have. If we import that file, then we should have certain set of functions to do certain work on that. Now, if we use a length on a particular column, it might not work because it was not supposed to do that particular work. So there is a different length function which takes care of the columns, rows, or whatever numbers we have inside. I'm just giving an example. So there are multiple functions which are there inside a data frame that are only applicable to a Python data frame or a pandas file which deals with the external file. So that is one particular module. Now, for doing mathematical operation, there is a package that we have. The name is NumPy. NumPy stands for numerical Python. Right? NumPy stands for numerical Python. So this NumPy, what it does is, NumPy will help you to deal with all sort of mathematical calculation that we do. Now, if you know, in mathematics, we have, percentile, there is a quantile, we have mean, we have standard deviation, mode, and all of that. And these are just to name a few. And also we have, various types of quadratic equations. In mathematics, in statistics, we have lot of things. So to deal with all those mathematical thing, and let's say matrix is one thing. So if you guys have heard, so matrix is something which takes the shape of a table which has rows and columns in it. So that will be a matrix. Now, so NumPy is something which will take care of all of that. So all these functions are clubbed together within NumPy. All we have to do is just download or install NumPy and start using it. Then we have scientific. We have scientific operations. The name is SciPy. What scientific is this? Uh, all sorts of scientific, like, so all sort of statistical tests. Let's say Z test. There is a T test, some sampling, then something to do with, let's say, probability, and etc. There are multiple things. So all of these things can be done with the help of SciPy. Then we have something called machine learning. That is the most important thing that we will pay our attention to, which is machine learning. So there is a particular package which deals with all the machine learning related stuff. The name is Scikit-learn or sklearn. Sklearn or Scikit-learn. Both are same thing. We will be majorly using Scikit-learn, but for installing, we have to install it in the name of a Scikit-learn. That's how we'll install it. But yeah, what this does, this will take care of all machine learning things, like all ML algorithms, all regressions, all types of, let's say, feature transformation, feature selection, feature elimination, model evaluation. So eventually what we have to do, so we have to create a machine learning model which can do a certain type of task. So the scikit-learn package is something which will take care of all of that. So what would be the next? Let's say the next would be your Matplotlib or something. Okay, visuals, visualization. How do we do it? It's using Matplotlib or Seaborn. These are two different things. These are two. Okay, let me just put it down so it will be easy to. Yeah. So. So both of them does the same thing, just that Seaborn is more organized and easy, user-friendly. User-friendly. However, this one is more granular and more of like, how do I say it? It's more detailed, like, line chart, bar chart, so on and so forth. And this one could be your, I mean, both of them can work on line chart, bar chart, but the Seaborn looks are more better. You can play around with this one more easily. Easy to use, and the graphical and the views are easy. Like, let's say pie chart, you can do a donut chart, just to name a few. So these are few of the main ones that we would need. We can probably eliminate the, this one, the scientific operation, probability and all, because all of our work will be related to machine learning. Now, this part, scientific SciPy, is majorly for people who works on research, on statistical operations, on, let's say, who works on, let's say, ISI or some research center. So those people are majorly using SciPy. I mean, we can also use it. Entirely depends on the situation you are in and what is the need of the hour. But for our case, these are the ones that we will majorly use. One is pandas, because that's the important thing, right? We have to bring some outside file into the Python environment. NumPy, which will talk about the numerical things. We have to do all the numerical this thing. Okay, this has an important thing called arrays. We will talk in details later what array is. And then scikit-learn, of course, this is the most important thing because this is the package. This is the module which will help you to write all the ML related codes. You know, all the machine learning algorithms, linear regression, logistic regression, and all of that. And eventually we have to visualize it. We can either use Matplotlib or Seaborn. And okay, there is one last thing which we can use, which is pickle. And this is a conversion of ML models using pickle library. So that is the name of the library. Convert to binary. So this pickle library, what it does is it essentially converts all the ML models to a computer, a computer's format, which a computer can understand, which can then be taken to a cloud system to deploy into the server and all of that. So essentially, these are few of the things that we need to know, we should know, and they'll be asked in every interview, they'll be asked in every, job interview and every work that you will be doing in this data science and world. So these are the most crucial ones. Yeah, so that is all about the Python packages. Now, let's see what else. So, this thing we can purposely avoid. Creating a module. We don't need to create a module here. So we will be consuming only the existing ones. So this is important for the IT people. The IT development who will develop a module on their own. So let's say you need to have a particular module only specific to your project. So in that way, in that case, you will create one module, but that is something which is not needed for our case. We will use all the existing ones. So that is the one that can be ignored. Importing and exporting files are using pandas. That is one of the things. Packages and import, yes, we will see. Python standard libraries, we have seen. Python modules, the same thing. Imported modules also something we have seen, and regular expression will come later. So import. Now, how to do it? It's very simple. So for the first time, you have to have pandas on your system, right? So the code is pretty simple. It's pip install. Then your package name. That's it. That is the command that you need to run. Now you can run this either on a Jupyter notebook or you can open the command prompt and you can type pip install and the package. Let's say, let me type panda. So if I hit this, let's see what it gives me, because I already have it installed. Yeah, see. So what it's saying, requirement already satisfied, means pandas is already available in this particular location. And it also shows you the version number 2.2.1. So this version pandas is already there. So I don't need to install it again. Okay, let's try with NumPy. NumPy is also installed in my system, but let's see. Yeah, again, it's saying the same thing. Requirement already satisfied. That means it's there in this location, so no need to create it again. So for you guys, what you have to do, you have to write it like this: pip install pandas, then pip install NumPy, and like that. So every time you write this, this will get installed on your system. So that is how we install a particular package into our laptop or system. Now, how to call it? It's using import pandas. So if you run this, see it's running. On the left hand side, see the star sign and also see the kernel here at the top. Kernel is busy. So this is running. So for the first time, if you run this, it might take a couple of seconds or minutes to be max depending on your RAM, because Python entirely processes based on your existing RAM in your laptop. So if you have a high-end laptop with, a very high RAM or memory, in that case, your Python execution will be super fast. But for me, let's say my RAM is very less, so I have probably 2 GB of RAM. So in that case, my Python will take long time to run. Even a simple code will take long time to run. So see, it is done. So if I run it again, the next time it's done. See, it's pretty fast, but for the first time, it will take some time. Now, there is also something that we do. Import pandas as PD. This is something that we write. Now, because throughout the code, every time we will use the packages, the functions which are present inside of this particular package. Now, see, again, I hit Shift Tab. So when I pressed Shift Tab, this is what it showed me. So this is what a module. This is Pandas. This is where it is stored, the location. Now, what is Pandas? A powerful data analysis and manipulation library for Python. Let me write it down. This is much better compared to what I had written. Pandas. Yeah. So this is a powerful data analysis and manipulation library for Python. So for Python, once you intake any external CSV file, to do any sort of data analysis or to do any sort of manipulation on that. Manipulation means you add a column, you delete some column, you delete some rows. Those are manipulations. And data analysis means you just went through the particular module. Like, so how many columns it has, or let's say how many rows it has, or what is their their total length, and how many of them have missing value and all of that. So that is all data analysis. So that's what pandas will do for you. Now, every time we will use the functions within pandas, what we have to do is we have to use that. So every time, let's say there is a function called read underscore CSV. This is a function. So this function will help to read an external CSV file from your C drive, D drive, or from some other location. But this is stored under pandas. So we have to write it like this, pandas dot. Otherwise, Python will get confused that where this read CSV to take from. Is it from NumPy, or is it, let's say some other library also has a read CSV. So Python will get confused where to look. So what we have to do, we have to first write the module name dot, and then we have to write the function. So if you do like this, pandas dot and then tab, it will show you all the existing functions that are there within that particular module. So what are the things that we can do? See, if we write read, these are the options that it is giving me. You can read a CSV file, you can read an Excel file, you can read a feather. Feather is something else. Uh, Read an HTML, read a JSON file. So these are the read SAS, SPSS, SQL query also it will read. SQL table also it can read, XML file. So all of this it has to read, but you have to write this name first. Now, then why have we used this line? The reason is pandas is a big name, or let's say a particular package will have a big name. Let's say there is a package that I work, which the name is transformers. So every time you have to write transformer. So instead, we can use this as an alias. So what is that? ALIAS. Alias means a synonym. Synonym, or let's say as a pet name. This is a pet name. So every time I will be using pandas, I will not write pandas. I will just write PD. So if I run this statement now, And if I write pd dot tab, it will show me the same thing. Now you can write pd as something else, sy, or you can, it's up to you. You can choose to ignore this completely.
Pandas,
And
yeah.
huh?
Full form of for pandas for short form, no?
Yeah, no, not for short form. So it could be anything. You can write it as, tr. Doesn't matter. You can write
Yeah, yeah.
x, anything. So this is just to reduce the repetition of using pandas every time.
Okay.
So this is what, so this is how we import a particular package. Same, let's say if I have to import NumPy, I will as just alias it, just give a new name and I will just run this. So np dot, this will show me all the, now NumPy is numerical Python, right? All the mathematical things, all the numerical things. So that's why see all these are mathematical form functions. ABS is absolute. Then A max, argument max, append is there. A range is something that we will see later. So we have seen range, right? Range will help you to decide the starting point and the end point. Now, A range is something that does the same, but for arrays. Now, what are arrays? Arrays are another type of data types which are used only during NumPy. So every time the name is array, ARRAY. Every time we will use a range of, let's say, 6. X is equal to, now if I print X, but this looks like a list, right? This looks like a list to me. So let's see what is the data type. So type of X, what is the type of X? Now it's saying it's a NumPy ND array. ND means n dimensional. N dimensional means it could be 1 dimension, 2 dimension, 3 dimension. It's an n dimensional array, multi-dimensional array. Now what is array? Array is something which stores similar type of data type. Stores similar data types. That means you can either have an integer, so everything will be an integer. If you want to store it as a float, everything will be a float. Now array and NumPy are numerical Python, so you should not use it on string or character or something. It's only to do a numerical calculations. So this is the same thing. Now the difference, then what is the difference between list and array? List also does the same thing. The difference between list is, let's see, list also does the same thing, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It also saves data in the same format. But the difference is list stores other data types as well. This is a floating point. So list, decimals, we call it decimals, and floating points are same. Decimals is equal to floating point. You can save. So see, every data type is different. There is an integer, there is a floating point, there is a character. You can store a boolean also here. So this is a boolean. So it has a mix of everything. But arrays are something which stores only one type of data together. So that is the basic difference between array and a list. I hope it's clear now.
Okay. Array means completely numerical values we can.
Yes, 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 yes. Only same type. The type has to be same. Numerical, but not a mix of character and numeric.
Okay.
It has to be a mix. It has to be only one type, not a
Only one.
mix. Yeah.
Okay.
So that is the basic difference between an array and list. Now,
But in list we can mix up. So
yes, absolutely.
numerical as well as the
Numerical,
names.
floating, decimal, character
Anything.
string, everything. Everything
Okay.
we can put in list.
Okay.
So that is what array is. An array, you cannot create an array directly. So array we have to create only through this particular package, which is known as NumPy.
Oh,
Once we install NumPy, import it, then only we can create an array. Because these are things. Now, why do we need an array? We need an array to create. We need array to create matrix. Now, do you know what a matrix is?
no.
Matrix are, okay, So we'll just see it here. Google. So what is matrix? So this is the film, just ignore it. Matrix mathematics. Yeah. So in mathematics, a matrix is a rectangular array. See, here also they are saying array. Is a rectangular array or table of numbers, symbols, and expressions arranged in rows and columns, which is used to represent a mathematical object or a property or such something like that. So see here, see the picture here. So a matrix is something which usually we will store in, which looks as a table, but it will have multiple rows and multiple columns in it. For list, we have seen it's only one row of list, right? It's one dimensional, but this could be multi-dimensional. So the array that we have created here, this array that we have created here, this X is one dimensional because it has only one rows. But if I do this, 2, 3, this will be a two-dimensional array. This will become a two-dimensional array, just like it is showing in Google. Where it went here? Oh, here. Yeah, just like it's showing here. This is a matrix. Now, important question is, why do we need a matrix? The reason is, computer knows only zeros and ones. Your laptop or desktop is only aware of a 0 and a 1. It does not know anything other than 0 and 1. So whatever is saved in a computer, this Excel file, this Jupyter notebook, whatever, this has to be stored in some sort of a format that the computer understands, which is at the end of the day either 0 or 1, mix of zeros and ones, because a computer can process only that. So we know, let's say we have created an Excel file that we have one here. Okay, so this is an Excel file. So this Excel file has multiple rows and columns in it, right? This Excel file has, what is that sound? Okay. Okay, all right. I thought somebody joined or left. But yeah, so this is a particular table, has rows and columns. So this a computer can interpret. But what if we have this? Okay, well, say something like, so okay, I don't know why it's not coming here, but the point is, yeah. So this is a particular image, right? This
Yes.
is an image. This is any format. It could be a JPG or BMP or some other image format. So how computer will understand what this is? Now this will be converted into pixels. Pixel. If you know this term, this will be converted into pixel. Now, what is a pixel? Now, pixel is essentially a small value which has a certain number in it. So, pixel has something which, lies from 0 to 255. So, between 0, 255. If I do this, and yeah. So, these are individual values which lies from 0 to 255. Now, each and every value will store information about each and every pixel. Like 40 is probably means too light, and 206 probably means too dark. So that's how the color ranges are defined. So 0 means it's dark completely, and 255 means it's white completely. And the rest lies in that horizon, in that spectrum. So like this. So this value will be your 255, and the black one will be your 0. So that's how this is essentially, the color are converted. Now this image, if I have to store it in a computer, I cannot store it. I have to convert that into pixel, which are essentially these values. Now, how can I store all these values together? All these values can be stored together in the form of a matrix. In the form of a matrix. So this will be your one matrix, which has how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 4. So it will be your 9 by 4 matrix. This will be your 9 by 4 matrix, which if I give these numbers to the computer will decode these numbers as this particular picture. Now just understand one thing, these are not literally this. So this is just an example I gave you. This is just an example I gave you. So these numbers that does not mean this particular picture. But just
Okay.
imagine, this is one picture which, like, every picture has rows and columns in it. Like, the resolution, what we call it. Like, 1024 by 512. This is probably the resolution of this particular picture. That means this particular picture has 1024 rows, 1024, and the columns are 512. It has those many rows and columns. So how many pixel it has? Pixel is something which is just a multiplication of your rows and columns. So 1024 into 512. So it has these many pixels, and each pixel has one particular value which tells you one particular color. So 108 is a color, 182 is a color, 30 is a color, like that. So that is why we need matrix, and that is how a computer converts a matrix into a relevant object. Are we clear on this part? Like, why we talked so much about this? Or is it too much? Hello, Ranjit Sian?
Yeah, it is correct.
Okay. So I just gave this example to let you understand why do we need a matrix. So that is the reason we need matrix. And matrices can only be created if with the help of this package, which is NumPy. Without NumPy, you cannot create a matrix. Actually, matrix are advanced level of arrays. So array is a one-dimensional. If there are multi three-dimensional array, that is a matrix.
Okay.
So that is how we store high objects in a computer. So yeah, so that is so these are the different packages that we have. And if I have to quickly tell you, like, import pandas as PD and PD dot red underscore CSV. Now within that, if I give a particular one, let's say this one, or hold on, let me use something else. Let me use that. This one slash dot CSV. So that is how we take any external file into Python. pd.read.csv, within quotation, you have to give the file name entirely. Now, once this file is in, we have to store its data frame. which is DF. So data frames are essentially something which has rows and columns, which will help us to operate efficiently in Python. CN, are you okay with it?
Yes.
You understood, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, can you come again? So I was in another call actually.
Yeah, so which part you missed?
Yeah, the previous one.
Yeah, so can you
Import
tell?
pandas as
Hmm?
import pandas as PD that read CSV you have mentioned, no? That the link we have given the one link.
Yes, yes, yes.
So this
So
part.
this is simple. pd.readcsv will read any file from user, and then what this will do is this we have to store it somewhere. So this will be stored as a data frame, DF,
Okay.
right? This will be stored as a data frame, which is DF. Now, once it is stored as a data frame, then we can use it later. And if we run this, this is giving an error because it has a space in between. That's how
Okay.
the folder is. The file folder is in my computer. So I will replace it. I will fix it with adding a small r before the quotation mark.
Acha. Okay.
And this will be fixed. So if I put df now, this is how the file looks like.
This file was in the system. So we are just importing the file to Python.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That is what we are doing. So
Okay.
this is a CSV file which was there in the C drive location. We are just importing it. That's it.
If you want to edit or something, we have to do some modification. Means that is possible by here, or we have to go back to the file and we have to
No,
work
no,
and
we
we
will
have.
do everything here. So that is what we will learn.
Acha. Okay.
Everything is something that we will learn. So see, in your real world, this file will, let's say the client will share you this file. The client will not let you touch anything here. The client will
Okay.
not let hamper this file, and you also don't want to do it. This is the, let's say, the base file. So all
Okay.
you will do is you will import the file in Python. Within Python, you will do your operation. That's it. Whatever manipulation, analysis, anything.
If we
So
save the file means automatically this file will save into that same link, or how this
no,
will be.
nothing. This is, you are just importing the file. You are not touching the file. The real file is there.
After working, after doing modification, how to
Yeah,
save
you
this
can
file?
do that as well. Yeah, we can do that as well.
That is also possible. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want, let's say this is a big file. So if I put this df.shape, this will tell you this file has 45,000 rows and 19 columns. Let's
Okay.
say we processed this file and the final length and the final file has, let's say, 12 rows and 5 columns. That is kind of, let's say, summarized version of this entire thing, right?
Okay.
So what we will do is, after that, we have to export this file from Pandas to our some other local system,
Oh, fine.
right? So yeah, so that is the thing. What I wanted to show you. Yeah, okay. So now, as we know, this is a function. So if you type Shift Tab, it will show you what are the things it can do. As we can see, it can do a lot of things. So it has a separator, it has a delimiter. Let's say this is a CSV file, right? Comma separator, delimiter. So let's say in the actual file, instead of comma, there is a tab, there is a asterisk, there's a hash mark. If we specify the delimiter, it will be able to identify how many columns it has, what are the values it goes to the column. If this has header or not. So by default, it will think, Python will think that this has a header. But let's say if the file has no header in it, header means the column names. and let's say you want to create them on your own. So you have to convert this option. So that is just one thing, and these are a lot of other things. D type are the data type of each and every column. So until now, we were just using type on a list, and Python was telling me this is a list, this is a array, this is a integer, numerical. But once this is a data frame, and there is a command called head. If we do that, it will show the top 5 rows. Top 5 rows, the head, as the name says, your head means something which is at the top. So it will show you by default top 5 rows. So you can see what the file is, what are the rows, what are the columns it has. So as we can see, these columns, they don't have a proper name in it, or probably the file is not correct. But our file has lot of issues with it. There are a lot of nans. Now nan means missing values. Nan means something which has no value associated with it.
Okay.
So that is why the name is nan here. So what I wanted to tell you is, okay, now see a data frame. This is what is just like an Excel file. Now each and every column will be of one type of data. So it cannot be a mix. So just think of them as like one single, how do we say it? So we call them as series. Series is something again that will come later. But yeah, so these are individual columns. So a column could be character, a column could be numerical, a column cannot be a mix of everything. Like in Excel, right? So in Excel, if this is numerical, this column is numerical. Something is, otherwise you would not be able to do any operation on it if you have a mix of it. Like if let's say this is age, so everything will be age, something like that. Okay, I think I understood what the issue is. Those. Think the first two skippers is equal to 2. Now I understood. So you guys saw what happened. So let me just take it out first.
Skip
So
process.
whenever I'm running it, it's showing me some, some
Nan.
incorrect names or something like that. But
Okay.
upon going through the file, if you let's say see some 10 rows, you will see everything is correct. Everything is correct. Only the first two is wrong. So the first one, which was supposed to be the column name, that actually is in the third row. This is the column name. This is not. So the first two are some error in the file. So instead of changing the file, which we'll not do, we will try to fix it here. So what we are trying to do, we are skipping the first 2 rows. If we write this skip rows equal to 2, it will skip the first row, the second row, and it will consider the third row as the column name, and it will put everything accordingly. So if I run this, now this is how the actual file looks like. This is cleaner, better, and much better. Right?
Yes. Yes.
So this is what a data frame is. Now data frame has multiple columns in it of different data types and formats and something like that. That is completely different. Now this is what a data frame is. Now today we'll not go details into it, otherwise it will take, we will miss other things. So this is what roughly a data frame is. We can use NumPy to do calculations and all of it. So we'll talk in details once we deal with a data frame. But understand what a data frame is, how can we import files, CSV, we can do the same for Excel. Let's say there is an Excel file, we can just need to change the function here, read_Excel, and that will import the Excel file into the system like that. So yeah, so that is what this is all about. That is one packages and import we have seen, standard I've seen, creating we've ignored, important module is something that we have seen, and regular expression. Regular expression is not needed at this point. So regular expressions are things which deals primarily with text or character. Like, let's say you have okay, so if I see the file, is there anything to do a regular expression on? No. Okay, I think there is one. So can you see this particular column job edu? So this particular column is basically a combination of two things. One is job, one is education. So the input data has this thing. So it is a concatenation of two information. The first one is technician, which is your job, and the second is your education, which is secondary. Okay. So the first thing is entrepreneur, that's your job, and the secondary, that is your education, like that. So we should be able to split them into two, because having this as a word will add no value to my analysis or to my understanding. So we have to split them up. To tackle those kind of things, we will use regular expression. Regular expression will look through the character, it will see where particular the expression is different, and it will just split them into 2, 3, or n number of parts. So long story, understand that's what it does. So if there is a comma, it replaces a comma with a space. So those kind of things is what regular expression does. That is what regular expression does. Basics of data analysis, we will see NumPy array. We have just basic thing we have seen operation. So we have these things in details we have to cover. Matrix, we have seen what is a matrix is. So these are things that we have to cover. Now series is one thing that is important. Yeah. And rest of the things we will cover eventually. So that's all on this part today. Now for the rest of the time, let's talk about these things. Data science,
Introduction of
machine
data.
learning, yes, and deep learning. Okay, so we will not go deep into the coding anymore. So the coding part is done. So what we will do now, we will just data science. So CN, can you tell me what this is? What is data science? CN is there or has he left? Yeah, he's there,
Yeah,
I think.
is there, is there.
CN?
Yeah, data science means so collecting all the data, and according to our wish, we can modify and we can use the data as per our business potential.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's right. That's actually short, and that is the right answer. So the science behind data.
Okay.
The science behind data. What is life science? Science which deals with life.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
What
Yes.
is so? What is data science? So the science which deals with data. Now data can be in different formats. So that is a debatable issue. That is something that we will talk later. But whenever there is data, you are doing anything related to data. You are trying to interpret it. You are trying to understand what this data is talking about. You're trying to find some hidden meaning from the data. That is what data science is all about.